I'm professional mountain biker Ryan PETRY.
And I'm professional cyclist Alexey.
We searched the country to find 3 novice bikers looking to take on the challenge of a lifetime.
We plan to help train and equip these new riders to tackle one of the hardest bike races in the nation, the Leadville Trail 100, a high-altitude event covering over 100 miles.
These riders have lots of training to do before then, as we're starting from the ground up.
The small mountain town of Leadville, Colorado, sits at an elevation of more than 10,000 feet, high in the Rocky Mountains. Its historic roots lie in the silver mining industry of the late 1800s, but it's now better known as the home of the Leadville 100 race series, arguably one of the hardest ultramarathons and mountain bike races in the country.
We started the race purely for economic reasons. The 100-mile run was extremely successful. A few years later, it kicked in a 100-mile mountain bike race. But the 100-mile mountain bike lit all the candles. The economy of Leadville, we hit our target. But then we found out our greatest contribution and what we're focused on today was making lives better.
It's common people doing uncommon things.
Your goal is to inspire, ignite the inner being of everyone, because we found out that that's what we do here.
Everyone would say success is getting that buckle, but I would say success is lining up, give it your all, being happy with you and with what you've done yourself.
I think the project came to life climbing Independence Pass, talking to Ryan about how we can make a difference beyond being just athletes. I think the project from the ground up is a series about people moving from one place to another. We are going to take 3 people who found the bike during COVID, during 2020, and we're going to follow that process, riding your first 20 miles to possibly taking on the hardest mountain bike race in the nation, Leadville 100.
Ryan and Alexey have searched through the thousands of video submissions to enter from the ground up. They have narrowed it down to their final 3 selections and who will take on this challenging journey.
Are you ready to take on Leadville? You're in.
Yeah?
Yep, it's all you.
That's what's up, man. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
You're one of 3 of 1,200.
If I wasn't in a doctor's office, I'd be screaming.
Are you ready to take on the Leadville 100?
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
When we chose Roberta, Enzo, and Shawna, they all had reasons far beyond just wanting to get to the finish line.
Shawna's application video, she was just the most open, vulnerable person that applied to the entire project. Enzo was one of my personal favorite videos that came through. He's an artist by trade, so I think that kind of came out in his video. And what I saw for him was just kind of real life goals. He wanted to kind of see what he was made of, and if he fully put his mind towards something, what he could accomplish. Roberta, she was so determined to take on something that she was scared of. In her video for From the Ground Up, she talks about not being able to swim, and so she was forcing herself to go take swimming lessons. That tenacity is something that I was really drawn to, and out of 1,200 applications.
Now that selections have been made, the adventure begins, with Ryan and Alexey heading to the riders' homes across the country. They will supply them with Canyon mountain bikes, as well as the gear and training plans they'll need to start the process.
We are heading into New York to go visit Enzo, bring him all his stuff. So we're loading up our sweet minivan here. Enzo's life is about to change forever.
What's going on, dude?
My name is Enzo Antonio MOSCARELLA. I'm 34, living in Queens, New York. I'm an artist. For work, I do decorative plaster, and I'm just trying to be the best human being that I can.
Have you ever gotten a bike in a box?
I have not. So all my bikes have either been garage or alley finds, or like a friend of a friend, like, yo, this was left in my basement. So this is my first like new bike. My background in cycling is very small. It wasn't up until February of last year that I actually decided to hop on Craigslist, buy a bike, and really just, you know, try to jump into the sport. Somehow now I'm in a mountain bike race. Oh, dude, this weighs like half of what those bikes weigh. When I first heard about From the Ground Up project, I was in the middle of deleting all my social media, kind of call it like a hard reset. Like my mental state wasn't great. I was kind of depressed and like just in a funk. I read about the project. It seemed really cool. It seemed like a challenge. And I thought to myself, like, why not? It's good to set goals, but I think I also need to be realistic. So yeah, I think finishing, I would be able to call it a success.
Enzo's first ride.
Comfortable shifting, it's gonna be big.
It's amazing, an amazing piece of machinery. I'm so hyped on it.
Enzo.
Hey!
We're here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Roberta Nunez. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Dominican Republic and live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm an ICU nurse. This past year has been pretty hard. I've only been a nurse for 2 years now. So when I finished my ICU training, I was met with a pandemic. It took a mental toll on me. Like I didn't want to hang out with anyone, even if it was in a safe way. Biking was like my savior. It was just like my heart's racing. It was just a breath of fresh air.
And so we'll guide you and we can help you where you want us to, but you'll see it's not going to be super tough.
Okay. I know what this is.
The first step for all three riders is to learn how to assemble their new bikes and familiarize themselves with the various adjustments.
Everything on a bike has these like numbers. So that's 5 to 6 Newton meters. So that's actually what this is used for. Like you want to get it to a point where it's tight, and as you're pushing it, it gets to that 5 to 6.
I already have my goal. I don't know if I will achieve it, but I want to finish in 11 hours, and I am going to cross the finish line. I feel like this is all a dream. It's definitely at times overwhelming, but in a good way.
That's awesome. You're doing good.
Never ridden a bike with such big tires.
Yeah. And those are on the small end.
Really?
You can get even bigger ones. Chilly morning. This is the third and final bike that we need to deliver, and it's headed to Shawna.
Christmas is finally come.
The last box.
Hi! You're all real!
I'm Shawna Anderson, 47 years old, special education teacher, currently in Superior, Wisconsin, on the beautiful shores of Lake Superior. In my spare time, biking, obviously, kayaking, gardening, traveling. I just took on the toughest challenge of my life to prove to myself that I could. I did it because I needed a challenge and I wanted to push myself and I needed to like do something out of my comfort zone.
This controls your suspension.
Okay.
So if you push, it'll be unlocked.
And oh, okay, yeah.
And if you hit it again,
so when it's lined up,
it's locked.
Or when it's lined up, it's locked. I know it's tough. I know it's gonna take all of my energy, all of my focus, all of my mental, physical stamina. I know that. But you can over-prepare, and then when things don't go the way you prepared for, it can throw you into a tailspin. So like I walk a line between needing to know and being prepared and still being able to roll with it. Now, my goal is to go and give it my 100% best effort. If I finish, yes, awesome. If I don't, but I know that I did what I could, then I'm happy. It's literally about the challenge and taking on the challenge for me.
So they've got their bikes, they've got all their gear, they've met us. We feel more confident in our choices than ever, and now comes the hard work. And I'm not quite so sure if they know exactly what's about to come, but it's about to get real. And it's gonna be awesome, but it's gonna be super hard. But at the end, it's all gonna be worth it when they cross the line and they reach those goals.
Next time on From the Ground Up, all three riders will face their first real challenge as they head to Boulder, Colorado to tackle their first long-distance ride at altitude, pushing them to their limits.
So what the am I doing here? Until you're here, you don't know.
I feel like I'm just hyper-focused on the fact that I'm freezing.
Yeah, we're kind of out here, it's around 40 degrees and raining, and they're getting all the harshest parts of cycling. They're kind of figuring out how to get through that.
I can feel the lack of oxygen on my chest, but yeah, everything else is like super good. Yeah, just feeling good.